is here to give her third installment for contest training. And this will summarize everything that she's already been talking about and also giving a few more rules and regulations. Please help me welcome the past District 38 International Speech Contest winner, Vaidehi Chitnis.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chris. And welcome, everybody. Just give me a minute. I will share my screen with you all. Okay. So good evening and welcome to part 3 and the final session of the Fall Online Speech Contest Training. I hope that you all enjoyed listening and learning much from this training as much as I enjoyed bringing this training to you. Since our distinguished Toastmaster Chris Velasco has already introduced me, let's move fearlessly forward. Today, what I will be covering is just an overview. We will begin with the FAQs. We will go over the area, division, and the district level contest. I will also include a clarification on the online speech contest. We will then move on to the timeline for the Fall Online Speech Contest for 2025, followed by the speech subject, the eligibility criteria, the judges, and the tie-breaking judge. After this section is over, we will take a brief pause for a Q&A. So what I would suggest is, just like the last time, you can let me complete this entire section, and then we'll open the floor and address any questions which you have. We will then move on to additional important information, followed by understanding all about ballots. And then we will move on to announcing winners, the process which talks about timing. We will again take a brief pause for a quick Q&A, because I found that last time this kind of, just having one section, then pausing and taking Q&A and then moving to the next section was very productive. So I have tried to do the same in terms of maintaining the format for the part 3 of the training as well. I will then share a couple of questions which we addressed to World Headquarters, and I've included the responses which we received from them as well. I will then share the masterclass, a training to improve your virtual presence, which is going to be hosted by none other than Randy Hudson. I will share links and helpful resources and materials which will also help you prepare meticulously and well. And then, of course, we will conclude with sharing the emails of both Anne and myself as well. And then we will close out with a final Q&A session where both I and Chris Velasco will address any of your questions which we couldn't in the first or the second section of this training. And with that, let's move on to our online speech contest FAQs. Now, I want to just mention here that this training and all the questions related to the training will be specific to the Fall Online Contest only. We will have a separate training session in November and December for the International Speech Contest as well as the evaluation speech contest. So we will take all those questions for the International Speech Contest as well as the evaluation contest during the trainings in November and December. But right now, let's focus on the Fall Online Speech Contest. And I'll just go over the quick recap of what this contest is all about. The online speech contest is an official contest type in the 2025-2026 rulebook, open to all clubs in good standing, regardless of the meeting format. All contestants and contest officials must participate live, online from separate locations via an online platform. The contest must be fully online. no in-person or hybrid gatherings during the event. Clubs holding a contest must follow the official rules. Contests not following the rules are not considered valid. And clubs choosing not to hold a contest may select and promote a contestant by any method it chooses per the contest rulebook. Now, when the contest moves to the area, division, and district level, remember that all the contests must be held at the area level, moving on to division and district. So an area speech contest winner will move on and proceed to the division contest, and the division winner will proceed to the district level of the contest. Now, it can happen that at any stage of the contest, say at the club level, area level, or the division level, for whatsoever reason, a contestant may not be able to compete in the next level of the contest. And should that happen, a club, area, or division contest winner be unable to participate in the next level of the contest, the highest place available contestant will advance to that level. Now, sometimes it can happen that a contest will be held with just one contestant. In such cases, please remember a contest must still be held and the contestant must be disqualified if they do not meet the timing, originality, and eligibility requirements. I have also added the reference number, that is page 9 of the rule book, because as you know, the rule book is pretty comprehensive and contains a lot of information. So I thought just letting you, sharing that page number would just help you quickly get to that page and read up on the information. Further clarification with regards to the online speech contest. It is open to clubs of any meeting format, in person, hybrid, or online. Clubs must follow the rules as written in the rule book, and contests must be conducted online. Remember, the use of external voting system is prohibited. The reference for the page number and the point is mentioned here. And later in this presentation, I will also explain what this exactly means. The use of external voting system is prohibited. Clubs must be in good standing and contestants must remain in good standing throughout the fall contest window. Renewal dues must be paid by September 30th, 2025 to be eligible to participate in the area and division contest in the month of October. I'm sure by now, all of you know the timeline for the online speech contest by heart, but let's just go over it one more time. So the club contests have to be completed between September 1st to September 30th, the area between October 1st to October 14th, the division between October 15th to October 31st, and our district level finals are scheduled for November 15th. As I did in the previous training, I have also shared the link for the timeline for the contest. Now let's understand what is the speech subject. For the online speech contest, the subject must be selected by the contestant. Please remember that there are specific requirements in terms of the content of the speech, and contestants must create their own speeches, which must be substantially original. A maximum of 25% of the speech can include quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content. But if that happens, please remember any such content has to be clearly identified during the speech. Another thing which contestants should remember is that they should not reference another contestant or a speech which is presented by another contestant during the speech in the same contest in which they are competing. And now let's go over what is the nature of the speech. All contestants will present a 5 to 7 minute speech on any topic in the fall online speech contest. And let's understand who is eligible to be a contestant. To be eligible, to compete in any official Toastmaster speech contest, a member must be a paid member of the club in the area, division, and district in which they are competing. The club also must be in good standing. A new, dual, or reinstated member must have their membership dues, as well as the membership application current with World Headquarters. They must maintain eligibility at all levels of the contest. Please remember, the contest chair can disqualify a contestant on the basis of eligibility. So just ensure that you maintain your eligibility right from the club all the way to the district level. As I mentioned, if at any level it is determined that the contestant was ineligible to compete, even if it was at any previous level, the contestant must be disqualified. And this disqualification must occur even if the ineligibility is discovered at a later level and has been corrected. Now for the ineligibility part, that is, who is not eligible to be a contestant. To understand that, take the time to visit page number 7 of the 2025-2026 speech contest rulebook, because there's a really long list of criteria which is clubbed under ineligibility. I have covered it in great detail in part 1 of the training, and I would like you to just browse through the speech contest rulebook just to refresh your memory and to be up to date with understanding who's eligible and who's also not eligible to be a contestant. Now, since we have contestants, we also need a judge. And who can be a judge? At a club contest, you just need to be a paid member. So I highly encourage all the members to definitely offer to volunteer to be a judge. It's an extremely wonderful experience. You learn a lot from it, and it will also help you contribute in the club contest. At the area, division, and district levels, there are certain requirements to be a judge. And what are they? You need to be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months. You need to have completed a minimum of 6 speech projects in the Competent Communication Manual, or earn certificates of completion in pathway levels 1 and 2. And remember, only members who join Toastmasters prior to the rollout of pathways in their region can use Competent Communication Manual speeches for eligibility reasons. Since this is a fall online speech contest, of course, you must be present virtually and online at the contest at which you will be serving. Now that we know who can be judged, let's understand who cannot be a judge. Any candidate for elected district leader positions for the term beginning on the subsequent July 1st are ineligible to serve as a contest official at the area, division, or the district level of the contest. And now I'm going to cover much in detail in terms of another very important role during the speech contest, the tie-breaking judge. Before the contest begins, the chief judge has to select a member who will act as the tie-breaking judge. Please remember that the identity of the tie-breaking judge has to be only known to the chief judge, not to the contest chair, not to anybody else who's a part of the contest. It will only be known to the chief judge. The tie-breaking judge does not attend the judge's briefing. When I say judge's briefing, it means the other voting judges. Suppose at any level you have, say, your 5 judges and you have having a briefing for them. Since the tie-breaking judge is a secret judge, you will arrange for a separate briefing for the tie-breaking judge. That is the chief judge and the secret tie-breaking judge will have a one-on-one briefing. The chief judge must provide a tie-breaking judge's guide and ballot to the tie-breaking judge before the beginning of the contest. And online speech contest voting judges receive the online speech contest tie-breaking judges guide and ballot, and the form number is 1189V. And now I will take a brief moment for any questions that you may have.
Please use the raised hand feature if you do have a question, and you'll be called upon.
Okay. Any questions?
I don't see any.
Okay, then should I move on
Anyone
to
in
the
line and nothing in the chat.
Okay, then should I proceed and move on to the next section? Okay, thank you
Sure.
so much. Okay. Go. Are you able to see my screen, Chris? Hello?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, perfect. Now this is additional important information because everything that you do when you prepare for the contest requires a lot of gathering of information, a lot of gathering of documents and forms and everything. So I just thought that I will share a few of those forms with you and a little bit of information which will make it very easy for you to be a part of the planning and organizing of the contest. So briefing of duties. Now what happens is before the contest, the voting judges, the counters, the timers will be briefed on their duties by the chief judge. Now these are some of the forms you will need to have with you before the contest. So be very organized and have a place where you can store all these forms. So it becomes very easy for you to quickly get them and be ready to go and move forward with your contest. So the first form is Form 1189A, which is the online speech contest voting judges form. The number of the online speech contest judges guide and ballot 1189A. This is readily available on our District 38 Toastmasters website as well as the Toastmasters International website as well. Now, what are the other forms which you will need? The form number 1170. And what is that? All voting judges and the tie-breaking judge will receive the judge's certification of eligibility and code of ethics form, which is, of course, form 1170. And when you receive this form, the form will need to be signed and then you return it back to the chief judge. Form 1175. Timers will receive the speech contest time record sheet and instructions for timers as well. If necessary, they also receive instructions in the proper use of the timing equipment. Now, those of you who are experienced and who have been a part of speech contest will already know exactly what you're supposed to do, but there could be members who are new, who might be participating and volunteering for the first time. So definitely take the time to explain to them exactly what is expected of them as timers. Form 1176. Other than the voting judges and the timers, another important role is played by our ballot counters. And ballot counters receive the counters tally sheet, Form 1176. And as I mentioned, the way you will, if necessary, do spend time to give instructions to the ballot counters on how they should proceed with gathering of the ballots and also explain the ballot counting procedure. This will be very important in case, of course, of someone who's participating as a ballot counter, volunteering for the first time. Now, Now, what else do we need to know about ballots? For ballots to be valid, it's important to know that judges shall complete ballots, enter their choices for the first, second, and the third placed contestant, sign and print their names on the ballot. E-signatures are acceptable. Please remember, you have to sign as well as print your names. If any of this information is missing, then the ballot is considered invalid. So ensure that you definitely not only enter your choices of first, second, and third, but print and sign your name. When voting judges finish marking their ballots, they will discreetly provide the bottom portion of the ballot to the ballot counter. So remember, when you look at the ballot counter, the form, the judge's ballot, the form has like a section on top where you give your marks to each and every contestant based on several criteria. So you do not have to give the portion, you just have to give the bottom portion to the ballot counters. The top portion of the ballot is not provided to the chief judge and must be discreetly discarded by the voting judge after the contest is over. What happens next? When the tie-breaking judge finishes marking their ballot by ranking all contestants in order, they too must discreetly provide the bottom portion of the ballot to the chief judge. The top portion of the ballot is not provided to the chief judge, and it must be discarded discreetly by the tie-breaking judge after the contest is concluded. As the voting judges and the tie-breaking judge are completing their ballots at the end of the contest, the timer with the stopwatch completes the time record sheet and they will provide it directly to the chief judge. And once all the ballots have been collected, the ballot counter and the chief judge will tabulate results in a private setting. Now, what happens? What will happen in the virtual ballot counting room? The ballot counters will tabulate results of the contest using the counters tally sheet, form 1176, the form which you already gave to the ballot counters before the contest began. On the counters tally sheet, each contestant will receive points for being ranked on the voting judge's ballot, and this is how they are ranked. You will assign 3 points for each first place ranking, 2 points for each second place ranking, and 1 point for each third place ranking. And once all the points are entered, or the ballot counters will compute the total points for each contestant. You will enter the totals on the bottom of the tally sheet. And after doing that, it's important that the point totals must be verified by all ballot counters before results are entered on the sheet. Now let's understand the contestants' ranking. Contestants are ranked on the bottom of the tally sheet according to the number of the points that they have scored. And what happens in the event of a tie? If there is a tie, the chief judge will consult the tie-breaking judge's ballot. That is why having a tie-breaking judge is so important during a contest. And remember, the tie-breaking judge's ballot, this ballot, the tied contestant who received the highest ranking on the tie-breaking judge's ballot will gain the contested place, and any other tied contestants will be ranked in order behind that contestant. Now, what are the next steps? You have now carefully followed all the steps from the get-go. What will happen next? Once the results have been tabulated and verified, the notification of the contest winner form, which is form number 1182, will be completed by the chief judge with the ranking of all the contestants, and then what will you do? You will submit it to the contester of the next level. So the reason I've said it's if applicable is because you will fill the form once your club contest is over, and then send this form to the contest chair of the area contest. And then when the area contest concludes, you will send it to the division. But once the district level, since this contest concludes at the district level, that's where you do not need to send this form further to any other level. The results form, which is form number 1168, will be completed by the chief judge with the names of the winners in reverse order, and then you will submit it to the contest chair. All the ballots and the tally sheet will be kept by the chief judge until after the winners have been announced. And what happens after the winner is announced? After the winners are announced, the chief judge will destroy all the ballots, the time record sheet, as well as the tally sheet. Now at this, I will just pause, and if anyone has any questions, do let me know.
Again, you can use the raised hand feature in the bottom toolbar.
Yes,
Sandy
Sandy.
Johnson.
Hi.
Hi, what's your
So-
question?
It's about the ballots and how we're doing it on a WebEx. And I heard you say that there has to be a printed signature, a printed name, as well as an electronic signature.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
So I'm going to go over 2 more slides, and
Okay.
yeah, and Anne has shared a few tips on how that can be done. And another
Perfect.
thing is during part 2 of the training, both our distinguished Toastmaster Anne Golden, as well as our distinguished Toastmaster Chris Velasco, shared some very helpful tips on how you can, in the virtual sphere, how you will manage the ballot counting. So we will just browse through it, and also after this, I take the Q&A, I will go over that slide also. So it will clarify your question. Hi, Joyce. What's your question?
Hi.
Hi.
My question is, how are protests handled?
Okay, so for the protest, I have covered it in great detail in part 1 of the training. So what you will do is, for all the protests which are raised, you can only handle and accept protest from a voting judge or a contestant, but you will not accept any protest from the audience members. And all the details of it are already covered in part 1 of the trainings. Just browse through it, and even after that, if you have any questions for me, just reach out to me on email, and I will make sure that I respond to you right away. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Tony, what's your
Tony?
question?
Yeah, I think you did mention this in one of the prior trainings, that it's the chief judge's responsibility to hand the paperwork in from the club level to the area director.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the chair's responsibility, correct?
So this, I remember your question, and I remember my answer as well. So I had asked you what was the paperwork, and then you had mentioned that it was once the contest is over, and then you have to fill that the form which the notification of the winner form. So that, according to the speech contest rule book, is supposed to be done by the chief judge. And the chief judge fills it up and then sends it to the next level of the contester of the next level of the competition.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
No, and nothing in chat.
Okay, then I will move forward. go. Okay. Can you just confirm, then you can see it, see my screen, Chris?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
perfect. So here is something which I had promised that I will share is online speech contest. This is a question which I had asked World Headquarters. This is pertaining to the online speech contest rule, point 11, which is on page 23. It says the use of external voting. What does it say? You're asking, do you want to know how protests are? Okay. Oh. So online, I'll get back to you on that. Okay, Chris, thank you so much. For the question, I'll just go over it. The use of external voting system is prohibited. That's what the rule says. So I asked them, could you please provide a detailed explanation of what is considered as an external voting system in this context? And this is what they responded. Any external voting system would be any ballots that have not been approved by World Headquarters. And then our Anne Golden, who's our District 38 PQD, also shared her explanation. What she says is, it would mean that you need to use the easily downloadable ballots provided by Toastmasters International. You will create a group text chat on your cell phone between the chief judge, the ballot counters, and you. Once you have completed your ballot and signed it, take a photo and send it to the group chat. You cannot use ballots in the form of Google Forms or any other ballot other than the official forms provided by Toastmasters International in the speech contest kit to submit your votes. And as I mentioned, in part 2 of the training, much towards the end of that training, our distinguished Toastmaster Anne Golden and distinguished Toastmaster Chris Velasco has shared very helpful and tips and advice specifically for the online speech contest, which you will find very helpful in terms of managing the ballots in a virtual format. And now that the contest is concluded, we will be announcing the winners. And let's understand what is the process. So after the conclusion of the contestants' interviews, the contest chair announces the winners of the contest. In a contest with 3 participants or more, a 3rd place winner, a 2nd place winner, and a 1st place winner will be announced. And the winners will be announced in reverse order. Remember that the winners must be announced prior to the end of the event. And if the event is the only event taking place, winners must be announced before the contest is adjourned. But what happens if multiple contests are taking place? If multiple contests are taking place as part of a larger conference or event, winners from all contests must be announced before the end of the conference or whatever event. If there are, say, multiple contests taking place at one event, each contest must be officially adjourned prior to the beginning of the next contest, even if winners have not yet been announced. An announcement of contest winners is final unless the list of winners is announced incorrectly, in which case the chief judge, the ballot counter, or the timer are permitted to immediately interrupt and correct the error. And after the winners have been announced, the chief judge will destroy all the ballots, the time record, as well as the tally sheet. Now let's understand all about timing, because timing plays a very important role during a speech contest. If a contestant goes over time, or in terms of the online speech contest, as you know, the speech is for 5 to 7 minutes. And if a contestant speaks less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds, they can get disqualified. So the role of a timer is very, very important. And for that, you need to appoint 2 timers and this will be done by our chief judge. One timer is provided with a stopwatch and the other with a signaler device that displays the green, the yellow, and the red colors. This is just a tip. If a timer does not have a typical stopwatch, you can also use the timer on your iPhones as well. The signaler device must be in full view of each contestant. And the tip which I have shared here is that the timer should keep their virtual hand raised and be seen on the first Zoom screen for the entire length of the contest, and they should use the Zoom timing background. For the online speech contest, a minimum of one backup timer is also appointed in case of any kind of technical difficulty. Now remember that the timer who's managing the timing device has to ensure that the contestants are able to view an accurate green, yellow, or red signal at appropriate times during the speech. All speeches delivered by contestants must conform to the timing guidelines for the contest. And the timer with the stopwatch will maintain and deliver to the chief judge a written record of the elapsed time of each speech on the speech contest time record sheet and instructions for timers, which is the form number 1175. Remember that this constitutes the official time. I have shared this information, so it's very helpful for you, and you don't have to wonder, oh, what is the background do I use in terms of the timing? So the timing devices, that is the virtual green, yellow, and red Zoom timing backgrounds, are readily available for download on our District 38 website. I have shared the link. What you need to do, just go to the District 38 website and the contest resources, and when you scroll down, you will find the Zoom timing background over there. As I mentioned, online contest speeches must be from 5 to 7 minutes. A contestant will be disqualified if the speech is less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Timers must not consider fractions of a second. A contestant is not qualified until their time reaches 4 minutes and 30 seconds and is not disqualified until their time reaches 7 minutes and 31 seconds. Now let's understand what happens when a contestant is introduced. So as soon as the contestant is introduced, they must proceed immediately to the speaking position. So what I would request is when you do your contestant briefing, just let them know that you know when it is your turn, because you will already know the speaking order. So just encourage them and remind them to be ready when it is your turn to speak. Okay. To ensure that each contestant's audio-visual equipment is functional, each contestant must say, "Thank you, contest chair," after they are introduced. So here is a quick tip. The contest chair should ask each contestant if they can hear them and whether they are able to see the location of the timer in the Zoom window. So you can begin your contest, and when you introduce the first contestant, or rather each contestant, you will ask them, "Can you hear me?" Because then you're sure that the contestant is able to hear you and everyone can hear the contestant as well. And in the same way, it is very important that the contestant should be able to see where the timer is located. So you need to ensure and you need to ask the contestant, "Can you see the timer?" And the contestant has to confirm to you as well. So the rule says if the audiovisual equipment is functional, the contest chair will respond, "You are welcome." There's another tip which I've added here. If a contestant can hear the contest chair and see the timer, they can respond by saying, "Yes, thank you, contest chair." So when does the timer begin his timing? Timing will begin with the contestant next definite verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. This usually be the next word uttered by the contestant, but would include any other communication such as sound effects, a staged act, or act by another person. And please remember, as I said before, the speaker should begin speaking within a short time after arriving at the virtual speaking area and is not permitted to delay the contest unnecessarily. Please review definitely when you're planning the contest, review the page number 21, 22, and 23 of the 2025-2026 speech contest rulebook, because although the speech contest rulebook contains general information about the contest, there are very specific piece of data and information pertaining to the online speech contest on pages 21 to 23. And now I will take questions if we have any. Yes, Tony.
Yep, I have another question.
Yes, my dear.
I don't know why I was always under the assumption that in the timing you had to go the 5 minutes, like you had pretty much see the green, and if it was before that, then you would be so. But I heard you say 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Is that new, or has it always been 4 minutes 30 seconds?
So basically what happens is, see, this is a 5 to 7 minutes speech, correct?
Yes.
So a contestant, if suppose they have a speech and the speech is less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds, they will not be considered as qualified for giving their speech, because it is a 5 to 7 speech, a 7-minute speech. And what happens is at 5 minutes, the timer will raise the green card, at 6 minutes, the yellow, and then at 7 minutes, the red, and then it stays until the contestant completes their speech. And this has always been there. I mean, at least the past 3-4 years that I have been in Toastmasters, that's what I have seen. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I don't see anything.
Okay, I will move forward. And this is another question which one of our members asked. And the question was, are clubs allowed to record their online speech contest? And I've asked, if your response to the above question is yes, are there any specific guidelines to allow clubs to record their contest? And this is the response which they received. If a recording is made for any purpose other than to be used in quarterfinal judging, districts determine the guidelines regarding video or audio recordings. Any guidelines established must not contradict the speech contest rulebook and must consider the safety of contestants and audience members. All participants and attendees who will be on camera must sign the photo video release form. For more information, you can also review the updated FAQs for speech contest. She has also mentioned, also note that members will need to ensure that the videos of their speech are not posted until after they are no longer a contestant. So I have sent this information to both Anne as well as Michelle. And once we receive the decision, because if you see from the response, they have left it to the district to determine the guidelines regarding the video and audio recording. So once we hear back from them, we will definitely circulate the information and share it with you all as well. And this is what the photo and video release form looks like. I found it on the Toastmasters website. And another question which I asked, because just to gain more clarity from my end, this is the question which is pertaining to point 1 of the speech contest policy, section E, page 6. Exceptions for safety reasons may be granted at the discretion of the chief executive officer. So I asked them, could you kindly clarify what qualifies as safety reasons in this context? What is the process for requesting an exception based on safety concerns? How long does it typically take for the chief executive officer to consider and respond to such request? And what is the expected timeline for the entire process from submission to resolution? And this is what they have shared as an exception. So she just gave an example as just during COVID times, as you know, there were things were different. So in terms of being physically present for, say, an in-person contest was not possible. So I'll just read out exactly what they have mentioned. An example of an exception granted was to accommodate limitations due to COVID-19. The Toastmasters International Board of Directors has issued an annual exception to the speech contest rulebook every year since 2020. These exceptions specifically applied to the rules requiring that contestants and contest officials be physically present to participate in speech contest. Ultimately, these exceptions were not intended to become the normal method of conducting speech contests, and as a result, the board determined that there will be no further exceptions to the rule requiring physical presence at speech contests beyond the club level, effective beginning with the 2024-2025 contest cycle. This decision will not affect the 2025 semifinals and World Championship of Public Speaking. And please remember, the speech contest rulebook is protocol, and per the governing documents, exceptions must be made by administrative protocol. Based on this process, you would email your request to speechcontest@toastmasters.org, and we will share the request with the international president-elect, and chief executive officer. There is not a defined time frame for this process. So these are the things which at any point when I was reading thoroughly through the speech contest rulebook, if there was anything which I felt I needed further clarification, I have reached out to them and received the responses, and that is what I have shared with you right now. Now, I'm sure that some of you might have concerns about how do you prepare for doing your absolute best in terms of your virtual presence. So fear not, because we have a training for you to improve your virtual presence. And our distinguished Toastmaster, Chris Velasco, will definitely be able to shed more light on this, but I'll just go through what it will be and when it will be and what it will include. It's on Wednesday, August 27th from 7 p.m. EST onwards on Zoom. And remember, this session, you need to register for this session, of course. You go to to the District 38 Toastmasters website, go to the masterclass calendar, just scroll down and click on the beautiful link there. And this session is for anyone who wants to improve their virtual presence and more. And Brandy Hudson, whom we all know, has many years of experience in the audiovisual field, and I'm sure that you all will learn much from this session. And I have listed all the things which will be covered in this session. It is about maximizing your virtual impact, managing the Zoom platform, being a good virtual guest, using PowerPoint and visual aids, and special consideration for the online speech contest. So you can see that from our end, District 38 is sparing no, or rather not taking any chances and doing everything they can to help you as much as possible. And some helpful resources as well. The speech contest resources I have shared the link. I have also shared the link for part 1 of the fall online speech contest. The part 2 of the training link is also available now. I have also shared the link for the 2025-2026 speech contest rulebook and some speech contest FAQs, which you'll also find very helpful. And finally, these are the email addresses. Please do not hesitate to reach out to us. As I mentioned before in part 2 of the training as well, I like to have complete transparency with whoever I work with. So definitely when you reach out to me with any questions, keep Anne in the copy or Chris in the copy, because it helps us all to be on the same page and to help you with your questions and the responses therein. And with that, I have concluded my training for today. And now we open the floor for questions, if any.
We do have 2 questions in the chat.
Yes.
And Kelly, you may need to add a little bit to this. She asks, what speech category is the online contest? In the rule book, she's not seeing language that says there's 2 separate categories.
Can you just repeat that question? I didn't. Yeah.
What speech category is the online speech contest? In the contest rule book, she's not seeing language that says there are 2 separate categories.
Oh, okay. If I understand her question correctly, the speech would be similar to what the speech you would prepare for an international speech contest. So it will be a 5 to 7 minute speech on any topic. Is that what
Yes.
she was really asking?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No
Yeah,
problem.
there is no category. It's any speech,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Any speech, yeah.
Okay.
And then the
thank you.
other question is from Christine Wilson. Is there a cost to attend the district conference in the fall and or the contest?
Is there a cost involved?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Anne, do you know if they're charging for the fall conference?
Well, for Christine, it's $100, but for everybody else, it's free. We No, we never charge. You know what? And that's something that maybe we should consider as a way to fundraise so that we can do more recognition. I don't know, but no, there's no charge. We're a generous district. Are you laughing, Christine? I don't see your reaction. Just a thanks, Ann. Come on. I want a better reaction from you.
And Chris, would you like to share a little more in detail about how protests are handled in a virtual format?
Sure. The best way to handle protests, the chief judge should be instructing all judges that if they have a protest about a particular speaker, because everyone's going to be home, text them and let them know there's a protest. Normally, during an in-person, we ask that they write protest on the top of the ballot. But since you're home, you can easily just take out your phone and text protest. And then the chief judge will then, before the ballot, after the ballots are collected, the chief judge will take that one judge into the breakout room, hear their protest. If they do feel it's valid, will then call the rest of the judges into the breakout room. They'll discuss the protest. And then at that time, if they decide that they want to hear from the contestant, they then ask the contestant to enter the breakout room, explain what was heard, what was done, etc. And then after the contestant leaves, then they do take a vote. But for the online contest, just the chief judge should be telling them, send me a text if you have a protest. If it's in person, you write protest on your completed ballot, because all ballots need to be collected and everyone should be scoring Okay, despite if you have a protest or not, you still have to score every contestant. So I hope that's clear.
Joyce, does that answer your question? I think you had asked a question about protest, but I realized that it would be you're talking about how to handle it in a virtual format. So
Right.
does that answer your question, Joyce?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any other questions, my friends? Okay. No questions in the chat as well, right, Chris? Are there any questions which people have?
No, that's
Okay.
it.
Okay. So with that, I have concluded all the parts of the training, part 1, 2, and 3. And as I said, I have thoroughly enjoyed learning about contests more in detail and also sharing the information with you. And I am confident that you also enjoyed being a part of these trainings as much as I have, and Anne and Chris has. And I want to especially thank Anne as well as Chris, who have been like a rock and helping me with every step of the way. And I really am so grateful to both of them. So thank you so much, and thank you to each one of you for your time and for being a part of this training. And I will now hand it back to Chris or Anne, who would like to share a few words, and then we can close out the part 3 of the training.
Chris, you don't mind, do you, if I go ahead, have some closing remarks? I apologize for being late. I have been really sick all week and I've been sleeping all day, and I slept right through the start of this meeting. So my apologies to everybody here. And I was sending emails when I woke up and I'm like, "Oh, I got to get on that meeting." So my apologies. I'm trying to rest and get well for that convention next week. But if you could come off mute, because Vaidehi has been a rock through this whole process. She has been diligent. She has been studying that rule book. She has been hounding TI for questions and following up with questions when they weren't clear. And we really worked together on these slides so that we didn't go into the deep dive of your questions, because she was covering everything. And she has put in a lot of time and effort to make sure that you are prepared to do these online contests. So if you could come off mute and show your appreciation to Vaidehi, because she has been the rock through this process. So excellent job, Vaidehi.
Great job, Vaidehi.
Thank
Great
you,
job.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Yes,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate your diligence. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Now, there is a couple of things. There is going to be an announcement coming out shortly about the officers training incentive. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I don't make that decision. So it will be coming out. There will be a decision. I don't mean to, I'm not throwing someone under the bus, but I just have to be honest with you, because I look at the officers as my officers, because I'm the PQD, right? And I'm in charge of training. So I look at you guys as mine. You're under me, and I've worked hard with you for training. So we'll see what happens with the incentive, but that is ongoing. But I want to let you know that we're running a club training special this Friday that wasn't originally on the books, that we've added to the books to help one club officer that actually could not make any training. So we're now opening up to everybody. If anybody needs to attend a concentration session, we are having one, if you're available, Friday, August 15th at 6 p.m. for an hour. So if you can get the word out, and we're calling it a club special, because that's just what it is, because it wasn't on the book. So it's a club special. It's free of charge, and you'll be entertained by Chris Velasco for an hour. What more could you ask, right? So let's spread that word, and we would love to get people there. I want to thank you all for all your effort with officer training. We are knocking it out of the park. We have so many areas that are close to having 100% with officers trained. Let's keep plugging it away. And these are all doing great. And for people that have helped with facilitating these core sessions and have repeatedly stepped up, and, you know, you have repeatedly stepped up and some haven't been able to as much as others, but you're always responding. You're always saying, well, I can't do it this day, I can do it that day. And I just want to say how much from my heart that I really appreciate all the support that all the officers are giving this season to the officer training. We can't do it without you. And we can't succeed without you. So thank you so very much. And thank you for coming out to support Vaidehi in this season training. And we have a few more. Yes, Chris, whoever's showing that. We have a few more in Division F as well that aren't published. And I'm not telling you who they are. And we have another one in Division B. And I think we have another one in Division E. So I'm going to wait until Thursday night. We have a Division A core. And we might publish it Friday night or Saturday. We'll see. But expect to see some more clubs out there that have 7 officers trained and get your names in lights. So I don't want to keep anybody here. We got done early. Wow. An hour. That was great. She's actually going to give you time back. Is there any way we can keep you here for an extra half hour? You got any more questions? I hate giving time back. But anyway, Chris, do you have anything you want to add? And if not, then we can let them all go and enjoy the rest of their night. And appreciate everything
Vaidehi
you're doing
has
this year.
already announced about the master class that Randy Hudson is having. It's a wonderful master class, and it's not only centered about club contests, although it'll certainly fall right into place with our fall online contest, but it's also just how to look your best professionally. So many meetings now are online. Even if you're changing careers or seeking a new job and you're interviewing, the interview most likely will be online. So why not learn how to look your best, sound your best, and give yourself a little leg up? So that is an extremely important master class, but we have a host of other ones. Check out our calendar online. And if you have any ideas, just email me.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
You.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.